just wondering, where's your breakfast buffet?
Just through those doors.
What horrors are lurking in your vacation breakfast? Well, if you're planning to hit the buffet to start your day, here are 13 things you should never eat from your hotel's breakfast buffet.
You'll thank me later.
Yogurt.
Hello, Greece, where the yogurt flows like water.
Yogurt is a staple on breakfast tables everywhere. So why are we telling you to run for the hills when you see it laid out at your breakfast buffet? Truth be told, yogurt is a bit of a finicky food. With the live cultures that go into its creation, it usually has a minimal shelf life. And in order to make sure you're getting the freshest product, you should always make sure to check the expiration date when you pick it up in the supermarket. These standards don't always translate to the hotel world, especially if you see it outside of prepackaged forms. And if there's a communal dish of yogurt, stay away. Bacteria and other unwanted foodborne illnesses can stem from yogurt that isn't kept properly, and anything over room temperature can be a danger for your safety.
Objection! Unhealthy!
And you also have to contend with the other guests and their own brand of germs every time they pick up the bowl or ladle. In this particular case, it's best to shoot for single-serving containers that are refrigerated on site in the dining room.
Like go good but to stay.
Souffles, quiches, and frittatas.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
Call it whatever you want, as long as you're not calling it egg pie. The real problem with these breakfast dishes is in the ingredients that they use in their construction. Powdered eggs are often used in large-scale dining production, and unfortunately, the diner is the one that gets the short end of the stick. Most of the dishes that use these eggs are fine in theory, but hotels shouldn't be sacrificing taste to give you a quick breakfast. As in most dishes, the final product is usually only as good as the sum of its parts. This means that by using less than top-notch eggs, the quiche, frittata, or souffle has already been hamstrung by its manner of production.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, am I right?
Once again, we also get into the issue of food safety. The FDA states that eggs should be served immediately after cooking and should not be eaten once they reach a degree higher than room temperature. In buffet settings, when food is flying out of the kitchen while less popular dishes are relegated to wait under heat lamps, this means that you could be setting yourself up for a world of hurt if you eat a product that was prepared hours ago. As with all things, use your best judgment.
I won't, eat you then.
Lemon wedges.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
When you first sit down at a restaurant, patrons are often served a glass of water. Now, if you're asked whether you would like it with lemon, just say no. We're here to tell you that in most, if not all cases, you should be avoiding these sliced lemons like grim death. In the restaurant world, much prep work needs to be done in order to make sure the business is operating smoothly. This can mean that a lot of preparation for the morning service is done the night before.
What?
Oftentimes, servers and buffet staff will slice 10 to 12 lemons for the entire service the next day. And if those lemons are sitting out for long periods of time without refrigeration, the diner is in for a world of hurt. Lemons are known to pick up excess bacteria, dry out, and even mold if not stored properly. Preparation from restaurant to restaurant will differ, but in a buffet setting, when the goal is preparing as much food as possible for a mass influx of guests, often the lemons are the last things on the minds of the kitchen staff.
I didn't even think about that.
Waffles.
Your waffles, milady.
It matters where you stay.
Yum.
Waffles are perhaps one of the most beloved breakfast foods for kids and adults alike, so it's natural to think that many travelers are heading to the hotel waffle station to make their own waffles when they wake up and go for breakfast. Unfortunately, like many of the other items on our list, these make-your-own waffle stations fall victim to many of the same shortcomings in terms of preparation. Usually, the batter is made in bulk to less than rigorous standards and is also subject to the dirty hands of other patrons.
Gross.
Bacteria is cultivated quite easily in room temperature batter. If you have little kids sticking their fingers into the batter, spilling it on the table, and altogether not handling it properly, this batter could become a nasty soup.
Looks too good to even eat.
First time here? Well, become an official BabbleTopper by taking a quick second to hit that subscribe button. Now, more hotel buffet no-nos. Breakfast meat.
That steak, medium rare? More rare than medium.
There's no shortage of options. Bacon, ham, sausage, kippers, it's all fair game depending on where you wake up in the world. Protein is an excellent way to start your day, but you might want to find a different source than your hotel buffet. It turns out that preparation standards are totally lacking in this department, and many times kitchen staff at hotels have to turn to microwavable meats. This means that the bacon you thought you were getting is not going to live up to its true potential.
I'm just making sure no one ever has to eat this.
Many hotel workers have blown the whistle in recent years, with stories of less than savory production methods of these meats hitting social media. It seems little to none of the breakfast meats that we all love are prepared fresh in the hotel kitchen, and instead have opted for the easy way out by boiling and microwaving. So take a hard look at the breakfast meats at your buffet before you dive in head first. If it's being produced in mass quantities without color and is covered in residual grease, you probably shouldn't indulge.
That means do not eat them.
Fresh fruit.
You mean like apples, oranges, and bananas?
Wow, it turns out that not even the fruit is safe. But can you guess why? Well, as with other buffet items, it comes down to the steps that the kitchen takes before it lands on your table. Was the fruit cut the night before? Is it leftover fruit from another dish and simply repurposed? Or did it come pre-packaged? These are all questions that you should be asking yourself before you spoon a helping onto your plate. Care in the preparation of our food should be of the utmost importance. And unfortunately, hotels and buffets don't always live up to expected standards. As with any communal food, you never know how many people have handled the dish.
Too many.
In this instance, the phrase "too many cooks" can actually spoil something. The best and safest form of fruit is always going to be whole pieces with the rind or skin still intact. You should exercise caution when you see pre-cut varieties all mixed together. The chances of all that fruit being cut up and processed at the same time is slim to none. And this is where the danger comes in. Fruit is high in sugar, which means that bacteria loves it as a food source, and it can be a hotbed for germs if it isn't eaten in a timely manner. When you have a bowl of fruit that's been sitting out for an entire breakfast service, it's a bit of a toss-up. The servers and waiters will always tell the tale. If they're constantly refilling the fruit and delivering fresh containers, then chances are you're good to go. If the bowl of fruit has been neglected on a far table at the end of the buffet, diner beware.
I'm aware!
Communal Condiments.
It's gonna be one of those guys who's really into hot sauce.
This one is a bit of a no-brainer, but we're here to let everyone in on the issues, not just the ones who know not to dip their finger in ketchup at the buffet. Always look for pre-packaged varieties when choosing condiments for your food. Individual packets are an excellent way to know that no one has compromised or tampered with your hot sauce. Real issues arise when you have community bowls of things like salad dressings, mayonnaise, ketchup, and so on. You never know who's been in contact with these condiments, and it bears noting that not all of these condiments are required to be refrigerated, so the lines get a little blurry as to their storage and handling.
Something smells fishy.
If you can see frost on the bowl of your condiments, you're probably safe, but why not just grab a single serving and go from there? We promise you'll have a much greater peace of mind than if you spoon dressing from the shared group container.
Finally, inner peace.
Bread and pastries.
I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
Can't eat the breakfast meats, can't eat the fruit, so what can we eat? Well, there's always bread, or maybe not. These items land on our list not because of the danger that they pose for foodborne illness or the spreading of the germs. No, instead, this is just a slightly nefarious way that breakfast buffets use to keep you away from the high-dollar items like bacon, eggs, and potatoes. Bread is often placed right at the head of a buffet, and patrons tend to fill up on bread at the onset of loading their plate. Bread and pastries are high in carbs, which means that the sensation of fullness is almost immediate. This can spell disaster for anyone looking to indulge in all of the buffet's options.
I mean, they've given me a few warnings for eating too much, but I said, how can I eat too much?
As after that third piece of toast, you might be getting a little full. Instead, take a trip around the buffet once or twice before you decide what you want to put on your plate. You won't fill up on bread, and you'll have more room to enjoy everything that the buffet has to offer.
Eat it! All of you, eat it!
Home fries.
Would you like some fries with that?
These aren't French fries, folks. They're home fries. They're similar to their potato counterparts, but usually come in a square shape. They're much more akin to a hash brown than a French fry, and lots of Southern cooking uses them as an interchangeable alternative at breakfast time. Uniformity is an important tenet in the cooking industry. This is why getting such a fine dice on an onion is so important for chefs, because it means that all the little bits are cooking at an even temperature and consistency. This becomes incredibly hard to master when you're cooking hundreds of little different shapes of potatoes. It's not impossible to perfect in a dining setting, but when you add the need for speed to the recipe, you can pretty much throw consistency out the window.
I just need to do it fast.
Diners at hotel buffets have expressed displeasure at the lack of consistency that goes into this breakfast favorite. Some are delivered too burnt, too greasy, or too raw, and the buffet is much to blame. When you're churning out food for hundreds of hungry guests, your biggest concern is getting the food to the table. Home fries need to be cooked consistently, with care, and slowly, and these are all things that are incredibly hard when running a buffet.
Hey, I'm trying my best here.
Scrambled eggs.
Eggs for breakfast? That's classic.
Don't get us wrong, powdered eggs do the trick just fine if you're in the army and don't know any better. But at our buffet table, we'll pass. There isn't anything inherently wrong with powdered eggs, but as previously stated, there's something strangely off about these fluffy yellow pillows of protein. We'll leave this one up to your discretion as long as proper food handling and safety is observed. You could do much worse than powdered eggs, but hey, you could do much better too. We think that you deserve to have your eggs freshly cracked, which means that omelet stations are an egg lover's dream.
Hey, omelet bar, huh?
Always opt for fresh, cracked eggs if you're a connoisseur of foods in their true form.
Do you like farm fresh eggs?
Breakfast casseroles.
The casseroles were endless and y'all's sympathy got me through.
Victims of the same pitfalls as quiches, frittatas, and souffles, breakfast casseroles are best left to be enjoyed around the breakfast table at home. This way you know how they're being prepared and with what ingredients.
You would be worried that it would taste awful.
Eggs are not something that should be tampered with, and when you have pre-made dishes made from eggs, there's something sinister that can happen. As we stated before, eggs should be eaten immediately after preparation, and if they reach a resting temperature higher than room temp, you're setting yourself up for disaster.
It's pretty gross.
Ready-made pancakes.
What's gross about pancakes with butter and maple syrup?
Waffles had their time in the sun. Now it's time for the true breakfast titan to make their mark. Pancakes are made in a similar fashion to the waffles that you see at breakfast buffets, and they're prone to the same issues that their counterparts face. You never quite know what's in the batter of these make-your-own mixes, and since pancakes share many properties with bread, there's a chance that there's a bit of a germ cocktail occurring in the batter.
Just unhygienic.
Once again, the best pancake batter will be made fresh right in front of you, and if they're offering anything less than that at your hotel buffet, you can bet there's something sinister going on.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Biscuits and gravy.
Son of a biscuit.
Say it ain't so. Biscuits and gravy are one of the most popular breakfast dishes across the U.S. And when we say biscuits, we're not talking about cookies. There's nothing inherently wrong with the biscuits and gravy that you'll find at buffets, but what's more egregious is a complete and utter lack of quality. Nearly every hotel is going to be using canned gravy and frozen biscuits, and that's just a downright tragedy. Not only are you counting on your nutrition coming from a heavily processed source, but the taste will leave you wishing you had opted for that slice of toast instead.
I said I don't like your food.
The best biscuits and gravy are going to be made from scratch every morning, and if your hotel buffet falls short of this, maybe just forego them altogether to avoid tarnishing the loving memory of Grandma's recipe.
It just tastes different.
Stick around and check out more great videos. Just tap or click. And if new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.